Welcome to Oliver Rain Knits. My name is Tracey and I am filming today in a very cold and snowy Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I plan on this channel to share some of my knitting projects as well as some other crafts that I work on and a healthy dose of Shiba Inu content, courtesy of my adorable little dogs, Kit and Daisy. Today, I only plan to share some knitting content, some recently finished objects, as well as some works in progress and some future knitting plans that I have. So if you're interested, please grab a project and settle in. My first finished object is this glorious pink cardigan that I'm wearing. This is a knit collage pattern and kit available through Knit Collage. Every year, Knit Collage hosts a make-along in the spring and the fall. I have been lurking on Knit Collage's Instagram for quite a long time, several years, I guess. I have hesitated because the garments that the yarn produces, they're a little bit of a statement piece, and they also are a little bit expensive. However, this year, I impulsively bought not one, but 2 kits, and wow, I am so happy that I did. This cardigan is so amazing. It is the Daisy Chain Cardi, designed by Amy Small, the founder and owner of Knit Collage. They are a US-based company, but all of the yarns come from India. Amy Small travels to India and she trains a group of artisans in producing the yarn, all the way from the spinning of the yarn to the addition of all the wonderful embellishments that make Knit Collage yarns so unique. I'd like to show a little bit more about the yarn itself. So I'm a bit of a magpie, so I love all things sparkly. In addition, you might remember that I have a little dog and her name is Daisy, and I love all things Daisy. Also, there are little bits of fabric as well as pieces of lace, and the yarn itself isn't just one color. It has bits of light pink, a little bit of hot pink, and some white bits, as well as some other pieces that are almost a pure red when you're looking at them really closely. Oh, it just is everything to me. And the yarn makes up really quickly. It's a super bulky weight yarn. And this cardigan took me probably 2 days of knitting, on and off, maybe about 8 hours over a couple of days. And then another day to put together. I treated myself to a Knit Collage cast on a day that I was feeling pretty low. I think the weather was a little bit gloomy. I'm a shift worker. I'm a nurse. I had just woken up from a night shift and I was feeling very low and just needing something comforting to knit on. So I grabbed my hot pink Daisy Chain cardigan. Every single stitch filled me with such joy, and the knitting produced a garment that continues to fill me with joy. I don't know, I feel like I'm glowing on the screen. I've always heard how much fun Knit Collage kits are to make, and it did not disappoint. So I feel like it is a privilege to be able to afford one of the kits. But if you are in a position to purchase one at any time, please do so, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I have. 100% recommend. My next finished object is actually a pair of mittens. These are the Moorland mittens by Tanya Barley. She is a wool barrow on Instagram. I love a lot of things about these mittens. They were a very quick knit. They were a soothing knit. I love these elongated baubles. I love how the cabling forms this stitch pattern. She also has a cardigan pattern, which I think this motif shows up on the arms. So I think that that might be a future cast on for me because it was just so much fun to knit. Now, these are amazing mittens. I love the pattern, but the pattern along with the yarn make them truly an outstanding mitten. The yarn is Nutiden. I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like everybody is talking about Nutiden yarns. I first became aware of them by watching another YouTube channel, Knitting a Good Yarn. Jackie and Carmen are knitting BFFs in Ontario who share a passion for Nutiden yarns. Nutiden is produced by a husband and wife team. The company is Honor Ak Air. I absolutely just butchered that name, so I do apologize. They are unspun yarns produced from a blend of endangered Swedish breeds. They are, so amazing. They come in plates, and let me just see, where did I put my, all right, there it is. They come in plates of 100 grams, and these mittens took 52. So they are incredibly lightweight, but also very strong and warm. Actually, I think they're probably warm. I haven't actually test driven them outside yet. So it is snowy and cold, so I think I'll be wearing them tonight. This is the plate. This is what I have left. 52 grams. I should have about 48, maybe a little more, so I could probably make another pair. The quality of Nutiden yarn, I don't know. I think you should go over to visit Jackie and Carmen because they explain it so much better than I can. The weight of the yarn goes from a fingering weight to a sport weight to worsted, depending on how many strands of the yarn that you hold. These mittens are double-stranded. The yarn has this really amazing quality that if you hold your fingers really closely together and try to pull, the yarn is really, really strong. It won't break. But if you hold your fingers a bit further apart, it comes apart. So you also can just lay your two strands together should it break. It is a little bit fragile. You need to figure out how to tension your yarn. It's a little bit different from worsted or woolen spun yarns. But once you figure it out, you're golden. So you can lay your two strands together and they felt together and the garment is very, very strong. You're not going to get any holes in your mittens. And I think that the more you wear them, they're going to become even more felted and softer. I did wet block these and they are so soft. So check out Jackie and Carmen for more information about unspun yarns. I have purchased a mountain of Nutiden yarn and I really look forward to sharing a little bit more about what I have in a future episode and some of my upcoming projects as well with that. So stay tuned. Works in progress. I have a lot of things that I'm working on. I will be perfectly honest. But today I think I'm just going to share a couple. The first work in progress that I have is here on the mannequin behind me. I don't know if anyone will recognize it. It is the ranunculus. If you're a knitter and you've been hiding under a rock, you might not have heard of it, but everybody else, I'm pretty sure has. This project, actually, I might have considered it a finished object, but I have it woven in the ends and I haven't blocked it. This started out as a sweater for my mom. It's the second attempt at making a sweater for my mother, and I think it's actually going to stay with me. Not because my mother is not knit-worthy, but because it actually is a little bit too small. It fits me perfectly. My mother is not very big, but she is a little bit bigger than I am, especially in the arms, maybe around the waist. So I think that I'm probably going to keep this unless I decide to block it out really big and it works out. That is why I'm considering it a work in progress. I have not finished weaving in my ends, so I might shorten it a little bit. I might change the sleeves. I'm not 100% sure, but this is the third of the ranunculus that I have made. The first one was not successful. I used some yarn that I had in my stash. It had a paper content and linen and cotton, I think. It was a disaster and it only fit on my little dog Daisy. The second one was a little bit more successful. I used some beautiful hand-dyed DK weight yarn, but when I finished the project, I realized that there was some weird pooling and the fit was a little bit off. I'm not really sure what happened, so I decided to frog it, and then for some crazy reason, I gave away the yarn. So this is my third attempt at a ranunculus, and I'm really, really happy with it. I don't know. I think I might keep it for myself and make my mom something else, but we'll see. The yarn is amazing. A couple of weeks ago, I went to the Fiber Frolic in Edmonton, Alberta, with some friends, Wendy and Leanne, and we just had such a phenomenal time. It was a fiber fiesta. There were lots of vendors and they had it in a new venue, and there was lots of space to walk around, to meet people, to talk to people. I ran into a few people I knew, and it was just such a wonderful, wonderful day. It was a weekend event, Saturday and Sunday, but I decided to come home early on the Sunday just because I had a shift that night. One of the wonderful things about this event is that it had a really big range of vendors from across Canada. One of the vendors also had some lectures that I was able to attend, and her name is Anna Hunter. Her yarn company is, let's see if I can show that here, Long Way Homestead. She is based in, let's turn these around the right way. My fingers aren't cooperating. She is located in Manitoba. She has a flock of sheep as well as a small mill. And I bought this yarn specifically for my mother's sweater. And then I attended a breed-specific workshop by Anna, and the more I learned about the yarn and the sheep and touched the fleeces and touched the yarn that was spun out of the fleeces and then the product that was knit in those yarns, I fell more and more in love with the yarn. So the yarn that I used to make this ranunculus in the back is 100% 2-ply worsted targhee. It's natural color, milled in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, 200 meters to 100 grams. This sweater took me less than 300 grams. I purchased a total of 6 skeins plus this green, with potentially the intention to make a colorwork sweater. I just need to keep it for myself. Maybe I'll make a bigger ranunculus for my mom. Maybe that's what they need to do. Anna Hunter, please go and check out her Instagram account. She is so passionate about Canadian yarn and is really working as an advocate for the Canadian wool industry. I'm not even going to do it justice. There are a lot of issues. Our government does not support Canadian wool, and she is really striving to make changes. She does have a book coming out. If I can figure out the name of it, I will post it below, and she was just delightful. I left the workshop and the whole event feeling like I'd made a new friend, and I can't say enough about it. I did make the 44-inch bust ranunculus, but I'm really not sure what happened. I did do a gauge swatch, but I think we can all admit now that gauge swatches sometimes lie. Maybe it will block out a lot bigger, but honestly, I don't really care because I love the sweater and I love the story behind it. Before I move on to the next work in progress, I just want to read what Anna has included on the tag of each of her skeins of yarn. I think it's just such a beautiful story and really highlights the passion that Anna has for Canadian wool. This yarn was grown by sheep raised on pasture in Manitoba. By reconnecting with the source of our fiber and the land base it is grown on, fiber artists can support small farms, reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, and help restore natural pasture lands. So I think that's really beautiful. I will definitely be using more of Anna's yarn in future projects, and I look forward to seeing what more she has to do, because Anna, you're just an amazing person. My next work in progress is actually a hoe, a half object, one of a pair of socks. This is a pattern by Tracey Miller of the Grocery Girls, and it is the Rocky Shores pattern that was in a book called Nomadic Knits, a magazine that is still in production. I think they do a couple of issues every year. The pattern is available on Ravelry as an individual download. And the reason why I chose this pattern, I'll show you the back. It's got this beautiful cable detail running up the back, as well as cables on the sides, and then this beautiful lace pattern. It's got the stripes and striped toes, a slip stitch heel with gusset and heel flap, and it's just such a beautiful sock. The yarn is hedgehog fibers, and the color is, I do have it written down here. Of course, I don't have it handy. I don't have it. Oh, here's the ball. Hedgehog fibers. The color is Salty Tails. It is a 90% merino and 10% nylon sock yarn, 100 grams with 400 meters, machine washable. And the mini that I'm using with it is Dream in Color yarns. I can't remember exactly the color, but I think they just go perfectly well together. I've had this yarn for quite a long time. I think I bought it on one of my trips to Vancouver to visit my daughter who's at university there. And it's been in my stash for a long time. Before it was skeined up, there was a lot of this purplish color that I thought was going to be really, really obvious. The sock itself, once the yarn is knit, it does have the purplish color in it. Let's see if I can look a little bit closer. There we go. But there's a lot of other colors that I probably could have used in addition or instead of the purple. But I really just love the way they turned out. They're so cute, and I can't wait to finish the other one. Tracey Miller is one of the Grocery Girls. Jody and Tracey are sisters, and I love watching their YouTube channel so much. They are in Edmonton, so I got to meet them at the Fiber Frolic, and the second time meeting them, they are amazing huggers and amazing ladies. So thank you, Tracey, for making such wonderful patterns and just being generally great people and sharing yourselves so much with all of us knitters. My next work in progress is going to be a Saldana. I started it last night, and oh boy, this pattern is so potato chippy. This was probably an hour of knitting, and yes, I admit I am a fast knitter, but it just knits up so quickly. The yarn I'm using is Black Cat Custom Yarn. They're located on the west coast of Canada, Vancouver or possibly Victoria, BC. And the yarn I'm using is a DK weight. I believe that they don't have a DK yarn anymore. Unfortunately, they've had some supplier issues. The colors I'm using are a red, green, this speckled cream color, and yellow. So it is going to be a very Christmassy sweater. I try to make one every year. I became obsessed with a Christmas soldotna last year, but for various reasons I just couldn't make it happen. So I'm really looking forward to having this one. I'm not sure whether I'll wear it on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or just as something to pull on over the holidays. So I'm really, really excited about that, and I look forward to sharing that at a future episode. So the last thing I'd like to talk about is some future knitting ideas that I have. Again, at the Edmonton Fiber Frolic, I purchased a kit. I purchased a lot of things at the Edmonton Fiber Frolic, let's be honest. But I purchased this kit from Brittany at Crux Fiber Yarns. She is another amazing yarn dyer and producer in the Yukon, Whitehorse Yukon Territories in Canada. And I purchased this kit. Now there are 3 colors in the kit. Love Story, which is sort of a burgundy, Rosehip, a red, and then Midnight Genius, which is kind of a dark charcoal, almost a black. The yarn will make this toque. Isn't it adorable? The Yukon Campfire DK hat by Treeline Knits, and I believe that they are actually located in Edmonton. They shared the booth with Brittany at Crux Fibers, and also, where did I put my pom-pom? Treeline Knits makes these pom-poms. Ethically sourced fox fiber. Oh, isn't this going to be adorable? Let me turn around so the red shows. Oh, I cannot wait. So that will probably hop on my needles as soon as I'm finished the soldotna and figure out whatever I'm doing from my mother's Christmas sweater. The next thing that I plan to knit will be using some more Nutiden yarns. I think I'm going to make a shawl. I have a few ideas in my mind. I might possibly choose a pattern out of this book. Let's put it the right way. 52 Weeks of Shawls. I bought this in the summertime. It's got some really incredible patterns. I'm not a huge shawl wearer. I wear them as a scarf, but I love, love, love knitting shawls. So whatever I decide to do, it may be out of this book. I also have a few ideas from watching Knitting a Good Yarn. Jackie has made an amazing shawl as well that has inspired me. And I have a lot of Nutiden yarn to get through. So I hope you have enjoyed seeing some of my projects and seeing a little bit about what I do. I love to talk about yarn. I'm extremely passionate about all things knit, and I am pretty much always working on something, whether it is a sweater, a pair of socks. Sometimes I might even just be cross-stitching or doing some needlepoint. I dabble in some quilting or garment sewing. I also build dollhouse miniatures. I'm really excited to be able to talk about my projects with you and share a little bit about my world. And I really hope that you enjoyed listening to me ramble on today. Thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in seeing some more videos, please like and subscribe. So I am hoping that I can produce videos on a fairly consistent basis. Thank you so much, and happy knitting.